Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be judging some Am I the A-hole stories from Reddit. Okay, so if you don't know what Am I the A-hole is, it's a thread on Reddit where people submit their stories and they let people on the World Wide Web, like you and I, judge if they in fact are the a-hole or if they were justified in their actions. All right, so we're going to read a couple stories today and we're going to decide what we think about their situation. Okay, first one. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband I'm not going to let him have boys' night if I'm not there? Okay, so just by the title, I'm going to say yes. But let's read on and see if maybe our judgment changes. I, 28 female, told my husband, 29 male, 2 days ago that I don't allow boys' night at our house if I'm not in the room. The day before I told him, he invited 6 of his friends over while I went to visit my mom for 2 days. I had no knowledge of this. When I returned, I found him sleeping in our bed with the house in shambles. Okay, so I can kind of see why you say that, but let's keep going. I woke him up and asked him what happened to the house. He replied with, boys' night, and completely brushed me off. I told him to clean his mess right now. He did clean it up with my help, to be fair, but I was pretty mad. I thought about it for a bit, then sat him down and said he couldn't have any more boys' nights. He completely blew up at me and screamed about how I was controlling him and acting like his mother. I was shocked at his behavior and went to a friend's house for the night. When I returned, he completely ignored me. It hurt to see him brush me off when I tried to apologize. He slept in the guest room that night. Am I the a-hole? So to me, it sounds like there might need to be a little bit more communication in this relationship, but I don't necessarily think that you're the a-hole. Here's another one. Am I the a-hole for calling my husband's friend a pig for the way he was talking about his wife? So just by the title, I'm gonna say, no, you're not. Because if he's speaking like a pig, then I think you're justified. But let's find out. My husband and his friend were talking about the friend's wife. She had a baby 2 years ago and hasn't lost the baby weight. Okay, this is already, I can see where this is going. The friend kept complaining about how he hadn't signed up for that and he wouldn't deal with it. He kept saying how someone like him didn't have to accept it and that she knew what she was signing up for when she married him. Did she know that in fact you're the a-hole? He also mentioned how hot she used to be and how he wasn't giving her everything she could ever want for her to look how she currently looks. I can already tell you that this person is definitely not the a-hole for calling her friend's husband a pig, but let's read on. He mentioned how he never took her to events anymore because he would look like a joke to everybody. I'm sorry, but dude, if you feel that way, then you should not have ever gotten married. But let's continue. I walked in midway through their conversation and I'm not sure if he saw me because he kept speaking even while I was in the room. I wasn't planning to say anything, but I just blurted out that he was a pig when I registered what he was saying. Good for you. Good for you, girl. It caused an argument between me and the friend. According to him, I didn't understand how hard it was for him, and I shouldn't have been eavesdropping on their private conversation. He said he was confiding in my husband because he was having a difficult time. I told him the things he was saying were crappy, and he was acting like a pig. Eventually, my husband interrupted, which is the only reason we stopped arguing. Am I the a-hole? Absolutely not. I'm speechless that there are actually men that act that way. It blows my mind. I have nothing else to say about that one. Okay, let's do one more. Am I the a-hole for walking out on my job mid-shift? Okay, so this one sounds like it might be a good one because that could really depend on the work environment. So let's see. I'm 18 female and was working in a pub for minimum wage to earn some extra money before I moved to the beach for the summer. I had been working there for 2 to 3 weeks and had no experience in bartending beforehand. There are 3 managers with 1 living upstairs and 1 other employee. We both worked around 10 hours the day before. The other girl offered to stay with me as she was leaving at 6, but it wasn't on the schedule, and she was telling me how she hadn't seen her children all weekend because of working the long hours. So I told her to go home and enjoy the break. I didn't feel that she should have to suffer due to the scheduling errors. It wasn't up to her to fix. I totally agree with that. That's the manager's job. I messaged my boss that I didn't think it was fair to leave an 18-year-old girl on minimum wage in charge of an entire pub for 5 hours, as that was what they scheduled to happen. 100% agree. It would have been fine if a manager was upstairs, which he usually was, as he usually came back at around 6 p.m. But he wasn't coming back that night. So I had absolutely nobody, and from 6 onwards, everyone is the most drunk. I was upset that the managers felt it was okay to just leave me on there, and I felt exploited as it's a lot of work and responsibility. Yet I'm being paid as low as legally possible. I thought that this may result in either getting a pay raise or ensuring I'm not on my own again for such a long time on the schedule. My boss never replied to the message of me saying it was unfair. I wasn't scheduled for 2 days, and yesterday was my first day of seeing him. He didn't even look at me or say anything to me, which was odd as we usually have a laugh. He went out the back to smoke, so I followed him and politely asked why he didn't reply to my text. He told me he was with his son and dog, which is fair enough, but it was days ago, and even being acknowledged would have been fine. I'll talk about this when I next see you. But no, I just got left on red. I didn't say any of that because I didn't want to cause any scenes. He was immediately annoyed with what I said and brought up the fact that the other employee offered to stay with me and I declined it. I stated that she shouldn't have to do that, she wasn't obligated to, and it's not her pub. He said that it shouldn't matter whose pub it is. I refused help, so I shouldn't be complaining. This sounds like a horrible manager. He made out as though the other employee was the manager on duty, which we both know she isn't. She's also paid minimum wage and has only had extra training on opening and closing the pub. He was starting to raise his voice, so I just said fine and went back to the bar. I was trying not to cry, so after around 20 minutes, I went to the back and told him that I didn't want to work there anymore and that I'm just going to go. He said, "Are you seriously just going to leave in the middle of your shift?" And I said, yeah. He told me I wouldn't get paid, but I barely get paid anything as it is, so I just said, okay, fine. Are all pubs like this, and am I the a-hole? No, you are not the a-hole. Some places just have horrible management, and I think that you were totally justified in leaving. So good for you. Alright guys, so like I said before, all of these are on a thread on Reddit, so if you want to judge some for yourself, make sure you go take a look over there. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. It really helps the channel to grow. Leave a comment with what you think about each story, and I will see you next time. Bye!